That would be extremely helpful. Thank you. Good evening. I'm Meg Curran, Chairperson of the Energy Facility Siting Board. I want to thank everyone who's here tonight to provide public comment to the members of the Energy Facility Siting Board for our consideration of Invenergy Thermal Development's application to site, construct, and operate the Clear River Energy Center, a major energy facility in docket number SB 2015-06. With me up here, my fellow board members. To my right, Janet Coit, Director of the Department of Environmental Management, and to my left, Parag Agarwal, Associate Director of the Division of Planning. Also up here is Todd Bianco, the Board Coordinator, and Kathleen Marinelli, the Board Co-Coordinator, as well as Board Counsel Patricia Lucarelli, and Board Counsel and GM Counsel Susan Forster. Tonight is the fifth and last public comment hearing that the Board will hold in this docket. While oral comment won't be taken after tonight, written comment may be submitted anytime. The application at issue here was filed almost 2 years ago on October 29th, 2015. So I wanted to describe where we are currently in the process. At this point, all of the parties have filed in writing the witness testimony they intend to present, direct, rebuttal, and surrebuttal testimony. The witnesses who have provided testimony, what we call pre-filed testimony, will be present at the upcoming evidentiary hearings where those witnesses will be subject to cross-examination. The parties have also presented copies of all the exhibits they intend to introduce at the subsequent evidentiary hearings. Those exhibits will be authenticated and introduced at the same evidentiary hearings as the witness testimony is taken. Additionally, the parties have filed a number of motions asking the board to, among other things, determine certain matters before moving on to the final evidentiary hearings. The board has scheduled hearings for those pending motions for next week, October 17th, October 18th, and October 19th. Later this same month, we will begin what is called in the Energy Facility Siting Act the final hearing, because this proceeding is so complicated with so many parties and so much evidence pertaining to the question before the board, which is whether or not to approve the application filed by Invenergy. The final hearing has been scheduled to occur over a number of days, beginning on October 31st, and as presently scheduled, extending into January of 2018. The board, again, will not be hearing live oral public comment at those hearings. Again, written public comment, of course, can be filed at any time with Board Coordinator Todd Bianco. After the parties complete presenting their cases at the evidentiary hearings, the board will review everything that's been presented. They'll likely take many weeks, and the board will eventually come together again at least one open meeting to deliberate on a final decision on the application in light of all the evidence presented. Again, as I think we've indicated in the past, under the open meeting law, we do not deliberate outside of open meetings. We can only deliberate in public, so you'll be present at all of those. For tonight's public comment hearing, the board's goal is to hear from as many individuals as possible. As you know, In prior hearings, we've been unable to hear the many people who wanted to provide comment. For this last meeting, we want to hear from as many as possible. Accordingly, tonight, we've brought on Mr. Greg Perry, who will assist us and facilitate the public comment presented tonight. For tonight's proceeding, to permit as many as possible an opportunity to speak, speakers will be strictly limited to 3 minutes apiece. I ask you to please listen to Mr. Perry's instruction and please help us stay on time. Again, I want to thank everyone who's provided any comment or input to the process so far and who will going forward. I also want to thank, on behalf of the board, the Burrillville Police Department, Burrillville Fire Department, Burrillville School Department, and the Town of Burrillville staff, all of whom have supported us and helped us tremendously in conducting these events. And thank you. And now, Mr. Greg Perry.
Thank you, Madam Chairman. Good evening, folks. A public safety announcement. First and foremost, there are fire exits located in the back of the room. There are 3. There is one there, and there is one there in the event that we need them. The capacity of this room is not to exceed 600 people, and the Burrillville Fire Marshal will not allow more than 600 to be present at any given time tonight. The doors will close when we reach capacity, and if you leave, you will lose your seat. As the chairman said, it's the 5th and final public comment hearing that the board will hold on this proposal under Rhode Island General Law 4298, 1 through 20. Some housekeeping notes so that we're all on the same page and everyone can know what to expect this evening. Tonight's hearing is scheduled for 4 hours. That's 240 minutes. There will be a 10 to 15 minute break at roughly 8 o'clock for the stenographer to rest. That gives us approximately 225 minutes to take public comment. In order to allow the maximum number of people the opportunity to make a meaningful comment, individual verbal testimony will be limited to 3 minutes. Of course, you're encouraged to submit written testimony as well, and we have places up here where you may do so. By doing the math, it means in an orderly fashion we anticipate being able to take the testimony of approximately 75 individuals. No individual will be allowed to cede their time or any portion of their time to anyone else. When you arrive, those seeking to speak were asked to sign their names on one of 5 sign-up sheets that were located at the entrance. I'll be calling names off the sheets in the order in which we received them, by numerical number. We will take sheet 1A, then we will take 1B, 1C, and 1D, and then go back to the beginning and do it again. I will call 2 names at all times so the next person in line will know that they're about to have the opportunity to speak. Please come to the front of the room to the microphone when your name is called. Your time will begin when you start speaking, and I will provide you with a 30-second warning that your time is about to expire. At the end of 3 minutes, your mic will be turned off and the next person will be asked to begin. Just letting everybody know up front so that we are all on the same page. The format is not intended to limit anyone's remarks, but as the chair said, to ensure that we hear from as many people as possible tonight. And again, if you have more to say, you're encouraged to provide written testimony. There are a lot of folks in this room tonight, and it's important that we all understand that no one's comments are more important or less important than anyone else's comments this evening. When you come to speak, please state your name and the town that you are from so that the stenographer can put it into the record, and please spell your last name for her as well.